Today is the 32nd anniversary of the disappearance of Israeli fighter pilot Ron Arad. His story is part of the DNA of modern Israel. People born long after his disappearance still wear T-shirts to this day, still have bumper stickers on their cars with slogans to find him, to get justice, to bring him home. Arad ejected from his jet when he was hit by ground fire while on a bombing raid in Lebanon. Israel rescued the pilot who ejected alongside Arad, but he was captured alive by a Lebanese Shiite Muslim militia. It later merged into the Iran-backed Lebanese terror group Hezbollah. Israel did receive a single photograph of Arad alive and 3 handwritten letters, but negotiations for his full return collapsed after a year. No one knows exactly what happened to him, but his story still resonates to this day throughout the country of Israel. With me now is IDF Reserve's General Ephraim Segoli, a former combat pilot who actually was part of the rescue mission to save the other pilot that ejected with Arad. Sir, thank you so much for being with us. Bring me back to that rescue mission. I understand there was helicopter malfunctions. You came under heavy ground-to-air fire. How dangerous and harrowing was the rescue operation to begin with?
Okay, so it was supposed to be a routine mission in which fixed-wings jets attack a terrorist target. Usually, at that time, the terrorists did not have any effective weapon systems against high and fast-flying jets. Yet, we have a patrol of 1 search and rescue helicopter escorted by 2 attack helicopters, just in case something happens. And on that specific day, something happened. Actually, the Phantom, the F-4, exploded, and the crew was ejected automatically. We know only the story of the pilot. Unfortunately, we didn't hear Ron Arad's story, but from the pilot's story, it was amazing. The description that he fainted, and then he woke up, and he saw that he was surrounded by a red flame, and it was quiet, and he also that he died, and that's how death looks like. And then he understood that he was on his parachute on his way down, and he asked to send the rescue team in. The rescue team was composed, as I said before, by a search and rescue helicopter escorted by 2 Cobras. And they began flying towards the pilot that hid among the bushes. And then the search and rescue helicopter had a malfunction, and it had to leave. So now the Cobras were asked to do that mission. People should know that Cobras attack helicopters do not have room or seats for passengers, so they had to improvise. And they wanted to do something that was done in the operation in 1982, but it was done for us, how to rescue our comrades and not people from other squadrons. So the idea was to land next to him and to explain to him what to do. And it's a combination of luck and improvisation and courage of the pilot himself, who saved his life, and the attack helicopter pilot that operated beyond the limits, beyond the rules, beyond the regulations, and were able to rescue the pilot.
General, why do you think... I want to ask, General, why do you think Arad's story is still so powerful, even all these years later, decades later, people who were born long after he disappeared? Why do people care, do you think, so deeply about Ron Arad?
Okay, first of all, it's the halo of an airman that disappeared, and the promise that we have to bring our fighters, no matter where they come from, back home, and it was not done. This aircrew that was sent to his mission was not brought back home, and it opened a trauma or a wound in our society, which was much beyond the Air Force. And later on, after 2 years, as you said, actually, I have to correct you. For 2 years, we knew that he was alive, and then he disappeared. And that people, of course, did not accept it. They wanted the government to do more in order to bring him back home. A person doesn't disappear just like that. And it became a big story about 20 years afterwards, when Gilad Shalit was abducted. The whole issue of do we negotiate or do not negotiate with the terror organization? What is the price that we are ready to pay in order to bring someone back home. And on the other hand, people say that if you don't bring him home, if you do not exchange him forever, the terrorist asks for, he'll disappear.
General,
like Ron Arad. So Ron Arad became...
General, Iran or certainly Hezbollah, they have information. There's at least information about what happened to Ron Arad, where he was, what happened to him. Do you think it will ever be released? Will Israel learn more? Do you think at some point in the future?
I mean, I don't know. But to my best knowledge, if he disappeared 30 years ago, and nothing was heard of him, the chance that there's some hidden information, I have no idea. I do not know. But it's very difficult to hide a person for so long. And so maybe. But again, it's not. It's important to know, but it's not relevant to the story of what do we do when we encounter a similar situation in the future.
Whether to negotiate or not. IDF Reserve's General Ephraim Segoli, former combat pilot. Sir, I appreciate your expertise on this story and keeping the story alive.